Big time stuff coming up later this week. The NCAA hearing with the University of Tennessee, former head coach Jeremy Pruitt, former defensive coordinator Derek Ansley is going to be at Cincinnati. Brent Hubbs kind of set the scene going into the week, what to expect. And of course, the whole bowl ban things being thrown out there again. Kind of what are your thoughts entering the week and how this will play out?
Well, I mean, this is very procedural. This is the NCAA doing their due diligence, wanting to be procedural. They have not had many of these opportunities in terms of having hearings because of COVID. Remember, they were not on the road doing any interviews during this process. They had to use the third party lawyers and sit in on the Zoom calls because the NCAA didn't allow them to travel. So I think part of this committee wants some FaceTime with the powers that be and the people that are involved in this case. Obviously, that's Jeremy Pruitt. That's Tennessee in general. Donde Plowman, Tennessee's chancellor. Philip Fulmer. So we'll see, kind of what takes place from this and what happens and where it goes from there. They're going to start on Wednesday morning. That'll be a full day on Wednesday in Cincinnati. I expect it to be a full day basically on Thursday. I don't know that there'll be a need for anything on Friday. I think the hope is that this thing gets done sometime. The hearing gets wrapped up Thursday afternoon and everybody can depart and head to the house. And then you wait the 6 to 8 weeks or so before you get a ruling. Once you get a ruling, Austin, then you can appeal the ruling. You can do you can do various sorts of things there, and we'll go from there. We had a lot of questions on the board about this. I mean, there is separation. Jeremy Pruitt's not lumped in. Like his ruling is not going to be a part of the Tennessee deal. That's a separate deal. He'll have his own separate counsel. Derek Ansley's deal's separate than the university. But I think the NCAA wants to have some face-to-face contact with these people that they were not just privy to, Austin, during the investigation portion of this case because of COVID and the travel restrictions taking place.
Yeah, I think they want to have the public, the public flogging of all the parties, and I think they want everybody in that room to sit there and sweat it out while they talk to them and want to have to make them nervous and all that stuff. Again, like let's say Coach Pruitt's happy with whatever they give him. Tennessee's not. Tennessee appeals. It doesn't slow down Jeremy Pruitt. Vice versa. If Tennessee's happy and says, "All right, we're ready to move on. We'll accept the punishment. We'll give you the few more scholarships and $3 million fine or whatever it is," and Jeremy Pruitt's like, "No, I'm not happy with mine. I'm gonna appeal." It doesn't slow Tennessee down. So, the one I'm interested to see, does Derek Ansley make it to Cincinnati? Because I don't think he does. He legit just walked out. Whatever it went down, he just walked out and went to the NFL and is the DC for the Chargers. And I just don't see him showing up in Cincinnati. Maybe he does it by Zoom or video conference, something like that. But I just don't see him showing up. Everybody else I expect to be there.
Yeah, I agree with you. And again, this is procedural. There have been some committees that have signed off on things, and that's why Tennessee was optimistic that this would get done months ago. And then this committee here just said, no, we're not signing off on anything. We want to go through everything, and we'll see what the end result of that is. Tennessee, I think, feels prepared. I think they feel confident in how they've handled all of this, the changes that they've made. I think Donde Plowman I think Tennessee's very comfortable with every decision she's made, the direction she's taking things. And I think they feel comfortable with her, quote, taking a witness stand, if you will. I think Greg Sankey, if the ruling doesn't go the way Tennessee would like, I think Greg Sankey will voice his concerns and could be in the middle of that as well, because he knows how Tennessee has gone about this deal. So, it's unfortunate. Nobody ever wants to go through these. I've talked to enough people that have been through them, and there's nothing enjoyable. Even if you feel great about your case and great about what you're presenting, it's the last place you want to be. As Doug Dickey always said, you don't want them on your campus, and you don't want to have to go before them formally if you can avoid it. Tennessee did everything they could to avoid it, but here's where we stand, and we'll see how things get cranked up on Wednesday.
Well, as we've long talked about, the NCAA has so many reasons why they should handle Tennessee a certain way, because Tennessee did open up the doors. They did say, here's everything we got. Here's all the incriminating evidence against everybody. And they got rid of everyone. If they try to hit Tennessee in any kind of real manner, I don't mount a few more scholarships and a fine, that Tennessee will be, they'll do that and walk off. But if they try to hit them with anything type postseason ban, at that point, Hubs, Chris Lowe said this on The Nation the other night. I don't disagree. Every school will have armed guards at the airport keeping the NCAA off their campus from now on. Like, there will be no justification to ever let an NCAA representative on any campus ever again.
No, yeah, go ahead, Rob.
I was just saying, Hubbard was it last week that you wrote the call? I thought you summed it up, pretty perfectly. If Tennessee gets raked over the coals, you'll never see another school cooperate, again at the kind of level Tennessee did.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's the benefit to that? And I get where the NCAA says, we want to punish, and what you've done is maybe not enough in terms of scholarships because you were short rostered. I can see some of those things where the NCAA is coming down that avenue. But the NCAA has also been on record as saying they do not want to punish kids who weren't involved. Okay? Those guys aren't around here. Now, you have the one X factor with the Oklahoma State basketball team a couple of years ago, and that's the fly in the ointment, because they said they don't want to punish anybody, but Oklahoma State didn't go to the NCAA tournament, 2 years ago, I think it was. And some of the kids who were on that roster who didn't get to go to the NCAA tournament were in high school when Oklahoma State committed their violations, and they were cooperative. That's the one scary element there. Now, the NCAA took some criticism for that. I think where you're going here, it's a slippery slope and a dangerous slope for the NCAA to come hammer hard because of what you're saying. You get no cooperation. Remember this, too. There's, 17 charges in this deal against Tennessee? Tennessee's contesting one. They're contesting one. Everything else, guilty.
Failure to monitor?
They're contesting the failure to monitor. And that's what Tennessee is going, is fighting, and that's what the whole bulk of this thing is for Tennessee and Cincinnati, is a failure to monitor. Now, for Jeremy Pruitt, it's different, right? He's trying to figure out how he can get back to coaching sooner rather than later. And I think there's a couple of interesting ways for Jeremy Pruitt to go about this. One, he's got to stay calm, in my opinion. Two, get through this thing and negotiate, but he didn't want to negotiate on the front end, Austin, and got it to this point. So how he goes about his business in this case will be interesting on Thursday and on Wednesday and Thursday for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, at the end of the day, Coach Pruitt wants to coach. As simple as that. And for him, I think the best course of action to get back to the field is to just kind of go about his business. Not go in there trying to sue everybody or trying to hammer everybody. Just go in there, state your case, make your appeal with whatever they give. Because, I mean, let's face it. Let's say they give him a 5-year show cause. He should appeal it. If they give him a 3-year show cause, he should appeal it, because you can't get more, but you never know. They may go, okay, 3, okay, we'll do 2. 5, we'll do 4. Whatever. I mean, like, the quickest path for him back to coaching is the route he needs to go, because ultimately that's what he wants to do. And, I don't think he really wants to go back to the NFL. He did it for a year. I think he likes certain parts of it, but, I think he fancies himself as a guy who, coaches college football. And so, I think for him, it's quickest path to getting a resolution, the better, which means, play nice with everybody. And I think, there have been enough people around him to say, hey, you want to get back to the league, like, in other words, this league, the SEC, let's just go in here and get past all this.
Well, and if I'm wrong, sorry to jump in there, but he would be fine with the Hugh Freeze route, right? Like, head coaching show cause, but allowed to coordinate after, maybe a certain amount of years or whatever, just getting back into the game, being a coordinator, being a position coach, and then whenever that head coaching show cause is up, I mean, if he gets another opportunity, then whatever.
Yeah, I think that would be the case. Hubs, normally in this instance, the show cause does not start until they're ruled upon. So let's say he gets a 5-year show cause. It would be 5 years from right now. It would not be 5 years from when he last coached. I think that's where he could appeal it, though. I think that's where you could win an appeal. Hey, I've already served near 3 years. Let me, go. But let me date. If you're giving me 6, let me date it back. Now I've only got 3 years left to go. I mean, I think ultimately that's where he's got to try to win. It's all about the time. If it doesn't start till now, that's where I think it gets tougher and tougher.
And I just wonder too, Rob, if his approach to all this is different based on what happened to him this off season. Let's face it. Where does he want to coach at the end of the day? He wants to be the defensive coordinator at Alabama. And, he spent all the summer and fall talking about suing and all these other things. That job, his quote, one of his dream jobs, or the dream job for him, comes back open. And he can't be a factor in the job hunt or even be an analyst. And I wonder if you have that moment where it's like, I got to get I've been defiant. I'm not going to negotiate with anybody. The guys who work for me went ahead and got their negotiation things done, but I'm going to fight everybody. And then all of a sudden that carrot gets dangled in front of you for the job you want, Rob, and you can't get it. Does your mentality, does your approach to things change when reality hits that I can't do what I want to do until I get this thing resolved? And I wonder if his approach is a little different because of that.
I mean, I would have to think so, Hubbard. I mean, but there's no guarantee that it is. And, I think we could also all see him, saying his attitude has changed, and then, maybe getting in the courtroom and getting his dander up a little bit, and, maybe saying something that hurt his case. But I mean, I think you kind of painted it pretty well there. I mean, did he learn a lesson, this off season that he was going to have to change, that he's in a situation where, the defiance and, the lashing out is not going to help him at all. And, I would think that he got some pretty strong evidence to support that view by not even being able to be hired as an assistant, this past year. Forget about the buyout and all that. I mean, I would think that, like Austin was saying, I would think he wants a path forward to coaching again. And I would have to think what happened, with not even being able to go back, and where even Nick Saban can't get you back on his staff. I would have to think that sent a pretty clear message.
Hey, is this going to be streamed live on the Ocho?
No, there will be. I'm sure there will be backdoor entrances, and there will be. There's a gag order on this deal. Nobody can talk about this now. We'll see if anybody makes a comment, walking down a hallway or anything like that. But the NCAA says you cannot discuss it. Not only can you not discuss it while it's going on this week, you can't discuss it following the hearing being over. Nothing can be discussed or can be commented on until the ruling is made some 6-8 weeks from now. So you're going to have a lot of speculation, a lot of guessing, a lot of people trying to read body language, trying to read facial expressions when they see somebody, not just this week, but next week, and lots of speculation, out there among everybody, because I think the NCAA wants this and has made it very clear they want it closed ranks. Now, the NCAA might leak something out to somebody. That wouldn't be the first time that's happened. But I think there's a pretty good scolding if the other parties involved try to leak something out coming out of this deal.
Now, in preparation for this, we have had Hubs doing art classes the last few weeks to do artist renderings of all the parties walking in. So can't wait to see those stick figures.
I was going to say we need like how we dissect the body language of a recruit on a video. I mean, we need video of everybody walking in and out. We need to break it down, slow frame it, the shuffle, the facial expressions. We need to detail.
I'd like to be a fly on the wall when Dondi and Jeremy go out to dinner Wednesday night together.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to happen. But I'll say this: I mean, lawyers, PR people that involved with this, they have had and will have discussions with everybody about what to wear, how to look, how to help, how to carry yourself. All of that stuff is a part of this process and getting ready for this hearing and going through the hearing itself. I mean, that is something legitimately that they discuss, because people are going to try to dissect body language and dissect, whether you're on the stand in the room or whether it's just standing outside the room or whatever. That's the way it's going to be. Now, Danny White's going up there, and I'll throw this out there because we see a picture of him up there. I don't know why they want to talk to him. He wasn't here for anything. So I'm not sure exactly what he's going to have to say when it's all said and done. That's why I wonder if this thing's really going to go 3 days, because there's really 3 people you want to talk to, right? Jeremy Pruitt, Donde Plowman, Philip Fulmer. Derek Ansley would be the 4th. Outside of that, I don't know how many other people you need to bring to town to have a conversation with them about anything. But we'll see.